This video is brought to you by tipsquirrel.com. Hi everybody, Mike Hoffman here, and today we're going to be looking at another way of integrating your workflow between Lightroom and Photoshop. In this case, we're going to be looking at using Photoshop's capabilities to merge a series of images into a panorama. Now, a panorama is a wide image, and if you take a series of images and pan your camera from left to right or right to left, you can create this series, and Photoshop is very good at merging together. You will want to make sure that you have a good amount of overlap. 20 to 30% is recommended. I generally try to overlap about 50% just to be on the safe side. Now, Photoshop is very good at doing this kind of photo merge, and Lightroom is fully integrated with Photoshop. So we can simply click and highlight these four images that comprise the panorama, and we can send them to Photoshop. We can right-click the image and choose Edit In. But rather than choosing Edit in Photoshop, I'm going to drop to the bottom of this menu and choose Merge to Panorama in Photoshop. This will take my four digital negatives and pass them over to Photoshop and open the Photomerge dialog box automatically. Now here we can choose a variety of different layouts. Most of the time you're going to want to stick with Auto. We have some options down here, and we'll probably want to keep Blend Images Together enabled. This will tell Photoshop to create a seamless blend. You can enable vignette removal if you have a problem with vignettes in your original images. I don't have that on mine, so I'm not going to enable it. And geometric distortion correction is designed to straighten your images out, but I found that it often creates more distortion than it removes. So you can experiment with this and try it out. I'm going to leave it disabled for this image, and then I'm going to click OK. Now Photoshop goes to work loading the four digital negatives that I passed from Lightroom. We can see the layers as they're loaded here in the layer stack, and once all four of the layers are brought in, Photoshop will analyze the content and move the layers around, reposition them, and stretch them out to fit and blend them together. This could take a few minutes depending on the number of files and the size of your original files. Once the layers are properly positioned, Photoshop looks at the content, creates layer masks, and blends the layers together using the layer masks. And we can see here in the Layers panel a series of layer masks, and we can turn off each section to see the shape of the mask that Photoshop has created. So it's blended my images together, and if I look under the Image menu and choose Image Size, we can see that this is a pretty good size image, over 10,000 pixels across. Now at this point I'm through with the photo merge. I'm going to go ahead and flatten this image. So I'm going to choose Layer and Flatten Image and merge it all into one single layer, and that leaves me with a white background. Now I'll choose the Crop tool, and I'll just bring the corners in a little bit to remove some of the outside edges. And remember that I can always leave some of it there and use Content Aware Fill to fill in the gaps. So if I simply circle this with the lasso tool, I can choose Edit, Fill, and make sure that I've set this to use Content Aware, and click OK, and it fills it in. I can do the same thing over here on the right hand side. I'll bring up that Fill dialog by pressing Shift F5 and click OK. I'll deselect, and we can see it's done a good job. And let's try this over here in the corner as well, where these fence posts are. Once again, Shift F5, click OK, and there it is. We've done a pretty good job. All we have to do now is close this file and save it. We don't want to rename it. And when we do, this file is passed back to Lightroom, and we can see it here in the library module, our finished panorama. So there you have creating a panorama in Photoshop using Lightroom's Photoshop integration. I encourage you to get out there and snap a few pictures of your own and give this a try. My name is Mike Hoffman. My website is hoffmanartdesign.com. You'll find a variety of Photoshop, Lightroom, and photography tips and tricks there. You can follow me on Twitter at mhoffman2001, and you can find me on Google Plus by going to gplusmikehoffman.com. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this tip.